There is a new all-time high for the S&P 500 today, and Bitcoin has always gone up with the SP when it does. It's always the SP first. And you may have heard on the news that inflation is cooling, which means it's not going up but staying the same. It's a good sign for the markets. We are now seeing Bitcoin break out of our head and shoulders on the daily chart. No changes were made to the report as it has been on this channel for months. There is still a parabolic trend. This video has all of this and more. How are you all? Thanks for coming back to the show. Today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin and a few other important issues. My name is Kevin Svensson. A lot of the analysis on this station has been the same. We still feel the same way about this. We've only been following the standard hyperbolic trend, which is still going on. We'll talk about that. We also talked about the inverted head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart in the last video. I haven't made a lot of content in the last 2 weeks, only 3 videos, because I haven't had much to say. But we do have things to talk about today. Our thoughts and observations are now coming to life. Like I said today, I said on Twitter yesterday that Bitcoin will pump when most people don't expect it. Soon, the S&P 500 will hit a new all-time high. The SP always comes before Bitcoin when it hits a new all-time high. Perhaps it doesn't seem like it, but I think we are very nearly at the end of a very large upward trend shift. And yesterday on Twitter, we talked about the head and shoulders again in the opposite direction. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. First things first, today's Bitcoin daily picture is now live. We are going up more than 5% for the day, and we have broken the trend line that was going down. We've broken through the blocking line now. At this point, there is no doubt that a reverse bottom pattern has been broken. I would say this is very strong. On the daily chart, Bitcoin is also above the RSI downtrend line. For now, this is just a sign that the price will keep going up, since this area was the same in early 2024. When there is a sideways consolidation, the RSI shows downward rising resistance. We broke out of this, which led to new all-time highs. Bitcoin is going through the same thing again, which will probably lead to new all-time highs. This is probably going to be the run where we hit the parabolic goal. This has been the main analysis on this program for a very long time. We still believe what we did. There is a consistent explanation for you to follow, and the story is still going on. As of now, Bitcoin is up on the week. The price of this weekly seems to have hit a nice low point. Check it out. There is a nice hammer candle moving up on the weekly chart right now. It looks good. The shape looks like a bottom. It seems to be an exponentially higher low and a trend line that is getting faster. So this is still going in a spiral path. According to the textbook, we are now at base 4. This means we have another push up to the sell point in the textbook setting. People often ask me, Kev, are you telling me to sell at $90,000? When they hear that, are you telling me that $90,000 marks the end of the bull market? That's not what I mean at all. In other words, the way things are set up in textbooks says that when you reach a point where the trend is going straight up, well, it needs to cool down, because if the trend kept going in this parabola shape, it would turn into an endless trend line that goes straight up or even curves backwards, which we can't do. After a while, the style has to break out of that curvy shape. It can't go on forever. This is why I want to give you more information. $90,000 is the goal written in the guide. This is not the goal for the cycle high. Since the split just happened, I think we could go higher than $90,000 in this bull cycle. But we might need to cool down first. That could mean that Bitcoin goes up to our parabolic trend goal of $90,000 before the trend breaks down. There would then be a consolidation in the middle, followed by another push up, making the parabolic trend bigger and more spread out. So something like this is what I would do. The weekly RSI for Bitcoin is very telling. This trend line goes back to June or July 2022 if you look at the weekly RSI right next to the parabolic trend. So long ago is this trend line, and we've been following it ever since. We are also moving off of that trend line right now, as you can see. That little V-shaped bottom is beginning to show up. It's really that beautiful. There is no better trend than this one. This point, it should be clear. If it wasn't clear before, we are now following the textbook plan, and it should be clear that we are about to go fully vertical towards our vertical goal of about $90,000. The amount doesn't have to be $90,000. It might be a little less. But around that range, it's always hard to say for sure where the wicks will be, so $90,000 is the goal. It could be a little more. I have no reason to doubt that this will happen, since we are exactly where the picture shows we should be in this trend. At the start of the video, I said that the S&P 500 breaking its all-time high is a very important sign for Bitcoin's history. Because guys, it's all about trust. A number correlation does not show what correlation is. Today, the SP is up 1% and Bitcoin is up 5%. That doesn't mean that the two are linked. There are various kinds of links between things. It is a broad directional correlation in this case. When the SP goes up in a straight line, in general, Bitcoin is also going up in a straight line. If the SP is very volatile with lower lows and a lot of doubt, Bitcoin is likely to go down. In terms of longer periods of time, they line up. You need to know this because many people don't like this subject. They don't like it when I say that Bitcoin and the stock market are linked, but it is. It is a correlation in one way. The SP has broken Bitcoin's all-time high every single time. Every single time. What does that mean? This means that the SP is giving investors trust. Spiffs think it's a good sign when the SP hits a new all-time high. We might be able to guess about something with a higher risk and a higher possible gain. The fact that the stock market is doing well makes me feel good. Bitcoin is what we need to do. Speculators' faith. There is a lot of trust among speculators right now. There's also the GameStop craze going on. I believe that will actually cause a lot of money to flow into risky investments like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. When the SP hits a new all-time high, people are more willing to take risks. I believe that crypto and altcoins will experience a lot of upward movement. There are 3 of them. This is the altcoin market cap. The name for this number is the total 3 Bitcoin and Ethereum are left out. It's just all the other coins. Look at the area from 2020 to 2021. We broke out of that lower high about 140 weeks after this lower high on the left. Last year in 2018, we made that lower high 140 weeks ago. That's when we got away. Take a quick look at this setup from 2021. Click on this map to see it, and then we'll move on to the next one. This is the currency market cap X3 chart for 2024. If you look at the bottom high, you can see that we have been in this sideways range for about 111 weeks. The last time we didn't break out for 140 weeks. For altcoins, this trend line goes all the way up to the area where that lower high broke out. That's 124 weeks. The altcoins would break through this lower high barrier 16 weeks before the last cycle did. This is important to remember the view of time. There is nothing wrong with the other coins. We're just early, though if Bitcoin goes over the all-time high, altcoins are likely to go through a mania phase, which is a big rise. This is because altcoins have had their major main runs in every previous cycle. When Bitcoin hit its all-time high, it was the start of the main bull market for altcoins. The SP has now broken its all-time high. If you look at the daily chart again, you can see that the SP has made a nice daily move above its previous all-time high. Speculators will feel better about this, and Bitcoin is likely to reach a new all-time high, to go up and stay above the all-time high. As we get closer to the 90,000 goal, that's where the altcoins will go through a big mania phase. The most crazy runs we've seen so far are likely to happen for altcoins. I think altcoin season is coming up soon. I said on Twitter today that people who were negative yesterday and said the market was going to crash are now acting like they were positive the whole time. Pay close attention to what you hear. You should be careful about what you watch because most of the talking heads and experts you see are just trying to look like they're always on top of the trend, whether it's up or down.